Welcome back to my channel. So today I have come up with a new topic on research support on how to write a research paper. So recently I made a video on how to write a review paper. If you have not yet watched it, please do watch. That would be useful. So today we will see how to write a normal research paper. So research paper writing is a skill which requires a lot of time and patience. So let me give you a brief overview of how you can write a research paper. So basically in a research paper, we have different sections. So starting with the title of the paper, then comes the abstract, and then comes the introduction. So in the introduction, you need to introduce about the concept. Then you have methodology, where you give a brief overview of the methods that are used in the present work that you have carried about. Then comes the results and discussion. So results and discussion can be given as a separate section, or in certain journal templates you have results and discussion together. So you need to check with the journal guidelines. So based on the guidelines, you may have to slightly fine tune the sections in your research article. So after that comes the conclusion section, where you conclude the study and you may give 1 or 2 lines on the future prospects. And finally the acknowledgement, references, and in case there is a conflict of interest, no conflict of interest, all those details will be given. So basically in the introduction you have to be very precise about why you are doing this particular study. Okay, so you may give some introduction to the problems encountered in that area of your study, and then maybe you will give some literature where people have worked on similar lines, and some gaps in the literature you may try to highlight there. So that comes the literature part. So that also should be there within the introduction section. And then maybe one last para on what is the present focus of the study. So that has to come within the introduction section. So then comes the methods. So you might have worked with some methods to come up with the results. So those methods in detail has to be given in the methods section. Okay, so it is called as materials and methods. So initially whatever materials you have used in the study, maybe you're doing some dye degradation studies. At that time you need to mention about which chemicals you have used, what is the grade of the chemical used, what you have used, like whether you have used double distilled water. So all that details, whether you have done the experiments in triplicates, all the details should be mentioned in the methodology section. And in the results you have to give complete details about the results of your particular study in the terms of maybe tables, figures. So that gives you the graphs. So all that gives the interpretation of the results with the discussion part. And finally, you may conclude what is the study, what were your conclusions from the study. So even you can give some lines on the future prospects. So these are the main sections, IMRDC, which everyone follows, and most of the journal guidelines will follow this particular template. So whenever you're planning to write a research article, so first thing what you have to do is you have to plan your subheadings properly. Okay, so this will take some time. So you have to plan your subheadings and then start filling the data accordingly. So usually when I write a paper, we usually start with the materials and method first, because we have the entire details of the materials and methods that we have followed, and then comes the results and discussion. So whenever you're doing some work, you may have to, have the proper results in the suitable folders, so that it is labeled properly and you have the results right away with you. So these results can be plotted using softwares like Origin. You can use Excel. So all the data needs to be plotted very well. Okay, so then you have the results and discussion to be written. So you write that first after materials and methods. So once that part is done, then you come to the introduction, because you know exactly now what are the methods you have followed, what are the results you have got. Based on that, accordingly, the introduction section has to be written. So there has to be proper flow in the methods or in the introduction section. So there has to be a sequence. Okay, so how you are trying to write, so proper sequence has to be maintained. There should be a flow in the, or the continuity in the speech that you are giving, and then you give the small abstract. So these abstract, conclusion, all can be written at the end. So one important thing when you're writing any journal article is your title. So this is the first thing which the editor sees, right? So this has to be very catchy one, so that the title is, it's not very long, that is making it confusing, or very short. It should be precise, and it should give a detail. Once they read the title, they should be clear what is the work about. Okay, So, and the abstract. These are the two important things because this is the first thing which the editor sees. So once the title and abstract is through, then only he will see the remaining parts of your paper. So see to it that you spend more time on this part, that is the title and the abstract. So in the abstract, usually we use 150 to 200 words. Within that we write the abstract. So abstract should have details regarding the motivation of the study. So why did you do this study? And some major results that has to be shown in the abstract itself. Because if your results are very promising and that is shown in the abstract, the editor gets to know that there is quantum of work in this particular paper and he may send it for peer review. So in this way, these are the few tips and tricks you can follow so that your paper goes through the peer review, because this is the first hurdle that everyone follows or everyone faces basically, because usually in the desk only it may get rejected because of the title and the abstract. So see to it that you have the quality. So work quality we have to not compromise. This is very important. So once you have quality work, how to present it, this also is very, very important, because some people, they work but they don't know how to write. So writing is also a skill and that will definitely come with practice. You need to give more time to this. So ideally a paper may have 4,000 to 6,000 words and it may run to 8 to 12 pages with maximum 6 figures and tables, it depends. So each journal will have their guidelines. You need to check to this properly before you submit it. So they will have their something like maximum 6 figures, maximum 6 tables, and page length should be, I mean, within 16 pages or within 20 pages, and font should be this size, this style. So all that has to be precisely followed, because once you follow that, it will be easy for them also to process it further. So see to it that you do these things properly. So there are softwares for that also. Some people use LaTeX and all. You can try to explore that and see how you can do the formatting using those softwares. So as I told you, introduction, you need to tell about the background, the problems in that area, some statistics you can give so that it gives the reader the understanding about why this is all important. Some available technologies with literature. You can use Mendeley for this. So you can cite it using Mendeley, which will be very useful for reference manager, and then you can focus on the current study. And as I told in the materials and methods, step-by-step list of materials and procedures that you are following. And in the results, you give a brief overview of what results you have obtained and you discuss it. Okay, so discussion can be done with the help of literature. So particular study, you have got this result. Similarly, if somebody has done some work with something else, something similar to your study, you can show that results and discuss and tell that it is almost similar to the study there and something like that. Okay, so those kind of discussions you can try to get it. And finally the conclusion and references. So when you come to think of references, formatting of references is seriously a difficult task. So each journal may have their own templates. So there are tools for this. One of the tool is Trixit. So I've already made a video on this. You can watch it for more details. It's very easy. Just click off some buttons. You will get the reference in the style that you want. So let me show you with an example. Okay, just I will show you one of my paper. Okay, so this is one of the paper which we published. It's a Q1 paper. So this is the paper which is focused on nanoparticles. So we have tried to use gold nanospheres, and it's a gold nanoparticles basically for green synthesized ones, which are used for on-site detection. So we have tried to detect cadmium and nickel. So this was the main work. So detection or sensing studies kind of thing we have tried. So see this, now this if I just write gold nanoparticles, it may not be that catchy. So what I have done, I have written, because the characterization results showed nanospheres and nano triangles in that particular nanoparticle samples, I have added that in my title. So you can see here, and I've given that first detection part. So that is the catchy thing here. So on-light detection of cadmium and nickel using gold nanospheres and gold nano triangles capped with cyclia peltata phytochemicals. So this is a green synthesis approach which we have tried. So this is my team. So you can see this is a small abstract what we have planned. So you can see some details on what nanoparticles we have synthesized, what conditions we have used for optimization. Okay, we had optimized the condition for synthesis. So that, and some details on the characterization part. So when you talk about nanoparticles, their characterization is very important. So that is why those results I have highlighted here. Okay, similarly coming to detection, what limits it could detect, so 20 ppm, and whether it showed linearity and what were the R square values. So these are few major results. That is why I have tried to put that here in the abstract. And finally some application part, like I could develop a portable sensor using this approach. So that is what I have highlighted. So now you can see introduction, some details about the problem, some research in that area. So all this reference manager we have used Mendeley, which is very, very useful. I recommend all of you to explore more on this and try to use it for your papers. It will help a lot of, it will save you a lot of time, okay? So now you can see second after introduction, I told you it is materials and methods. So materials you can see, right? Whatever materials we have used for the study, right? So you can see chemical names, from where we have procured it, all details, okay? That has to be mentioned. Then detailed protocol, how to synthesize nanoparticles in this case, validation, all the optimization studies which we have used, before that characterization studies and detection studies, okay? So nickel and cadmium I told, right? So all those we have shown. And similarly we had used optimization technique, that is CCD. So that is what we have shown here, the limits and values, parameters. So all these tables can be done using Excel. So it will give you nice formattings. And then comes the results and discussion, as I told you. So all the discussions along with the results. So my results, discussing it with some other similar kind of studies, all that has been given together. So I'm just showing you, running through this so that you get an idea. So you can see there were nano triangles. Sorry, one second. So you can see nano triangles and nanospheres. That is why we have put that in the title. Similarly, all the characterization results have been put together. You can just have a look at it. So this was plotted using origin. So if you have the data with you, you can play around with the data using different styles. So we had used origin. Otherwise, usually the particle size, you get some graph like this. But the reviewer had asked me to plot it in the origin. So that is why I have plotted it. We have plotted it in origin. So similarly, all the results of characterization with discussion, right? And this is the RSM graphs. Okay, it is called as the response surface charts or plots, 3D plots. So it shows the interaction between the parameters. So finally validation, and finally you'll get your equation. So this optimization technique what we have tried for gold nanoparticles, and this is the detection part. So cadmium and nickel by cycliapeltata gold nanoparticles. So that is what we have shown. So this is the color change which we could see, and shift in the SPR. So all that details we have put, and finally a mechanism is shown, like usually what happens, why the color change is happening. So any kind of degradation studies or any kind of sensing studies, you need to show the mechanism also, how it works. So that will give more value to the paper, like you exactly know what's happening and what's the mechanism behind it. So that is why you can show that. And finally the conclusion. So you can see small conclusion within 100-150 words. Basically about what is the final conclusion from your study, till what limit it could detect, and maybe the future prospects of it, right? So then you can give the credits, author credits, declaration, data availability, supplementary data. So we had more data actually. We had journal have told 6 tables, 6 figures or something, but we had more. So some of it we showed in the supplementary material. So this is one more option which we'll have. You can present some of your data in the supplementary. And finally the references. So for this references, we have used Mendeley. Okay, so this is how you can plan your entire paper. So first you need to plan your side headings. So now all these side headings, no, we had planned that first, and then started writing the materials and methods and results and discussion part first. Then we came to introduction, abstract and conclusion. So this is how you need to write. So if you do that, you will get the entire flow, and that becomes easier. I hope this is clear now. So definitely I think with this example which I've shown you, it becomes easier. So once you start writing and keep writing continuously, you will definitely improve, but it will definitely take some time. So see to it that you have some patience and give some time so that you can ease the academic writing journey. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me till date. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel Geeks and Gleeks, so please do watch my videos, support me and share this video with the research fraternity so that whoever is having some issues with how to write a paper, so they'll get some information about the details and information about this. Thank you for your support till date. Have a nice day.